Collision with signs. I never touched them. Hello, race fans, and welcome back to the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Today, we've got the 5th race of season number 2. It's the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. I'm very much looking forward to this one. Last time out, we were in Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix, a very tough race for the team. If you missed that episode, I'll put a link to that right up above me in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Recommend you go back and give that one a watch before you watch this one. Charles did not even make it 2 laps in that race, so we were left to fight for ourselves to get points for the team, and we did exactly that. 6th place last time out. Not the greatest of results, but we fought hard to get that 6th place finish and at least a few points against our name for both us and the team. So hopefully Charles can bounce back, get those durability issues resolved. So we're going to need him to get into this fight for the constructors. Mercedes already pulling away, and we're really in a good position to capitalize on our strong start as a team, but we got to get these good finishes under our belt. Whole lot of things to get taken care of before we get out to the Dutch Grand Prix, so let's take a look at them. 8 days to use up for activities. We also have a press interview with Will Buxton that we'll get to here in just a sec, but we put a sponsor advertisement together for 3 days, did a weight training for Charles to give him +3 on pace, which will be good, and then also a sponsor event that'll give us some team acclaim, cost us a little bit of money, but no big deal. Speaking of money, well, we had a little over $7 million coming into this episode, and now, well, it's about 2.5. Where did that money go? Durability. It's the last thing that's still on Spec 1, so I put $4.5 million, or whatever it was, into resource point generation. You see it flashing down there on the bottom bar. So that'll put the durability department up to a Spec 2. Will be Spec 2 across the board, which will always be good. A little bit extra resource point generation. We're not really doing a whole lot of durability upgrades per se, but it's nice to increase the resource point generation while it's sitting there doing nothing. Might as well get something out of it. Speaking of R&D, we are the 4th best car on the grid right now before we get to the Dutch Grand Prix. 2 upgrades in process right now, which will come in after the Dutch Grand Prix. Both of them in the durability department. Level 1 upgrades to the engine store and the electrical systems. At the end of the last episode, DSB Optics was up for renewal, and we chose not to renew them at this time, but instead signed a 35-day contract with Sudo. A sponsor from Season 1, we brought them back to achieve the fastest lap in any session, something that I do on a regular basis, and easy money for us to get. So it'll give us about $467,000 to do that. Our weekly income sitting just above $1.5 million, which is nice right there. But we got to start finishing on the podium to maximize our other 2 sponsors, Zanzair and Xenon, because they give us a hell of a lot of money if we can accomplish that. We really need you, Charles. No more DNFs, please. All right, we'll roll time forward here, get into the press interview with Will Buxton, and see what he has to ask us. Hopefully it's very good things.
Well, it's great to be back at your headquarters, and I've got to say, an awful lot's changed since we were last here. Let's dive in with some questions. Your team's had their first win in Formula One. Is this a sign of things to come?
Is this a sign of things to come, he wants to know. Well, God, I hope so. Let's see. It's a start, and with an engine like ours, there'll be many more. With a chassis like ours, there'll be plenty more. Absolutely, get used to seeing us up on the podium because we're here to stay. Let's go with get used to seeing us up on the podium. We're here to stay.
Will your team be going for the Constructors' Championship this season, or just for points?
Why not both? Points lead to a championship, don't they, Will? It's kind of a weird question to ask. We're planning on getting plenty of points this season.
You've got one of the top teams in the Constructors' Championship. What's your secret to scoring those points?
Oh, let's see. Which department to compliment? We've been working heavy on powertrain. Aero's fallen a little bit behind. We have the 2nd best chassis. Let's go aero, because we're probably going to do a little bit of aero development here coming up.
Sponsors seem to be climbing over one another to get their name onto your car. What do you plan on investing that extra money into?
We can get a really good return on investment from our aero department. Let's continue to hype up the aero department, since that's where our next major upgrades are going to be coming.
Would you say that it's important to develop your drivers as much as possible?
Yeah, absolutely. We got a hell of a second driver. We just got to get his luck a little bit better, I suppose. Let's see. People aren't components. You can't just switch them out to improve in performance. We push everything to the extreme, be it cars or drivers. Not just the money invested in drivers. It's people aren't components. Can't just switch them out to improve performance.
Well, thanks a lot for inviting us here. It's been fantastic.
Thanks, Will. All right, well, that was fun. Thanks, Will Buxton, for the questions. Hopefully our aero department feeling very, very good about themselves. Let's continue to roll time forward and see where we end up. Nothing R&D-wise that can fail right now, so we get our money. We do our events. We're now Spec 2 on durability as well. Time to head out to the track. I'll get the practice programs done, get the setup installed, shake this baby down. Probably walk over to the other side of the garage where Charles is, give him a little pep talk, and tell him that we're all behind him and wanting to see him do well. Forget about the Chinese Grand Prix and his component failure, whatever it was, engine, gearbox, who knows. But that's all in the past. We got to focus forward here, put together a hell of a run in Zandvoort. Maybe we can go 1-2, 2-3, 1-3. I don't really care. As long as we're both up on the podium, I'll be happy with that. So with that said, let's head out to the paddock. Welcome to the paddock here at Zandvoort. As you can see, Jeff's weather forecast calling for sun and then partly cloudy skies as the race progresses, but should be a beautiful day here for a race. So before we get to the grid rundown, let's take a look at our rivalry, the performance index, and of course the point standings. Coming into the Dutch Grand Prix, we have a 24-18 lead over Alex Albon. Picked up 1 point on him in qualifying, and if we can have a decent day here today, probably going to be able to close this thing out without too much worry. I'm not so sure, short of a monumental just catastrophe, that he's going to catch us at this point. So that'll be nice if we can seal this one off and put another rivalry in the books. As far as the performance index goes, a lot of teams making big improvements coming into this race. Just about everybody showing up with some sort of upgrade. Well, except for us and Red Bull. Mercedes constantly trending up. Ferrari with a nice big jump up. McLaren with a littler one. We're right there, right beneath them. So Ferrari distancing themselves ever so slightly. But look who's coming back. Racing Point with an upgrade coming into this race right on our heels, right in between us and Red Bull. Renault with a decent little uptick as well, moving away from those bottom teams, trying to join the midfield fight. AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo pretty close right there. Haas with a big jump, and hell, even Williams with a big jump. So things are a little bit spread out, but not too far apart. That midfield fight really starting to come together, but it's wild to look at all these lines and see how the teams are approaching their upgrades this early in the season. 5 races in, a lot of movement, especially coming into this race. So something to keep an eye on. A lot of these cars in the field today are a lot different than they were in China. Over the course of the weekend, we accrued enough R&D points to purchase our next major aerodynamic upgrade, kind of why we were hyping up the aero department when we were talking with Will Buxton. And I went ahead and purchased the major rear downforce. That should be ready in a couple of races. So hopefully before Monaco, we'll have that major rear downforce. That'll be nice to have that for Monaco. We still have the other 2 durabilities going. So a couple of good things coming to the car, but major rear downforce for Monaco is the target. And finally, a look at the standings coming into today's race. Bottas with a 42-point lead over us in the driver's standings. And on the constructor's side, Mercedes starting to pull away. Again, with Charles exiting out on lap 2 of the Chinese Grand Prix, really hurt us. We need both of these cars in the points every single week to compete. But I'm not really targeting a Constructors' Championship this year. Maybe next year in Season 3 we can go for it. This year, we just got to do better than we did last year. That's all I'm really looking for. Well, there you go. You're all prepped for the Dutch Grand Prix. So without any more delay, let's head over to Crofty for the pre-race and grid rundown.
Welcome along then to the North Sea coast and Zandvoort, 25 miles away from Amsterdam, and the host for today's Dutch Grand Prix. It's a race the great Jim Clark won on 4 occasions, leading for an astonishing total of 370 laps. 4 lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners of the narrow and demanding Zandvoort circuit, with plenty of peaks and valleys over the course of a 2.6-mile lap, which will demand absolute concentration from our drivers here today. And with me as usual is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we discuss McLaren? We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and it haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
It doesn't look promising for them so far. And if the new regs have hit them as hard as we think, well, I suspect they may need a few late nights at the factory to get back on track.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and starting alongside him P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Davidson, Ricciardo, Gasly, Sainz, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Stroll, Kvyat, Esteban Ocon, and Albon, Magnussen, Russell, Nicholas Latifi, and Nobuharu Matsushita. Grosjean, Norris, De Vries, and Sergio Perez completes our grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Welcome to the grid here for the Dutch Grand Prix. As you saw in the pre-race rundown of that grid, we're right alongside our teammate Charles, except I was like 3/10 off of him in qualifying. He was very quick, and I barely got into Q2. I was 15th in Q1, and they only take the top 16. So we barely made it in, but we were decent in Q2 and improved in Q3. This car has a little bit of trouble turning to the right. It's not so bad going to the left, but some of these corners that go to the right, yeah, she's a little unstable, and I just wasn't able to iron it out in practice. So I got to be mindful of those places where the car's a little bit of a handful as the laps go on, and hopefully not wreck. That would be embarrassing. But let's take a look at the race strategy to see what we've got on tap today. One stop or two stop, our call, starting on softs. Now, the interesting thing to keep in mind is that a number of the top 10 drivers made it into Q3 on mediums. So they're going to be starting on mediums and probably doing a one-stop strategy, mediums to hards. So for us to do a two-stop strategy, softs, mediums, really doesn't make a lot of sense, knowing that a number of the cars that we're going to be racing against are going to do a one-stop mediums to hards. So for me, if mediums go 15, 16 laps like we see there on the bottom, I would imagine that if I go 11 on softs and hards all the way, you know, we're going to be behind the eight ball a little bit. So those guys that are starting on mediums are already at an advantage. And, yeah, we'll just have to catch up. But I'll play around with the strategy a little bit, see where we end up. Well, this looks like the way to go. One stop, softs to mediums. We can ride mediums out to the end. It's going to get a little dicey there towards the end of that stint. But we'll just have to take care of the tires, manage them, knowing that the other drivers that we're racing against are going to be on the hards at that point because you have to switch to the harder compound. And so the guys who are starting on mediums have to go over to the hards. That's going to be their one stop. So we're going to be on softer compounds throughout the entire race, so we should have a little more pace, but our tire life may suffer as it degrades a little bit faster. That's going to be the interesting part of this race. But this is what we're going to do. 13 laps on softs, mediums to the end. Here we go. 5 red lights for the Dutch Grand Prix. And away we go. We get hit by a Ferrari. Throw it up the inside there. Try and cover this spot off. All right, we fall back to 6th. Not a great start, but could be worse. Look at Charles making moves up to 3rd. Go, Charles. There you go. Last time out in the Chinese Grand Prix, he gave up spots on the first lap. I think we just got hit by somebody. Sainz. Hamilton on mediums fall down to 4th. All right, not completely awful first lap.
That start was okay. Now
not amazing, but not awful. Now, some of you who are a little more astute, oh my God, Hamilton was way sideways. Some of you a little more astute might notice something's different about this episode, today's race. We're not playing Pac-Man today. I turned off the suggested line. I need to learn to get away from that assist. I said I was going to get away from it in Season 2, and I haven't done it yet. So today's the first day, the first race where I'm not going to use it. Hopefully I don't regret that decision.
Engine is showing small signs of wear. Power output will be down.
Yeah. It's about the same as it was in Season 2. It was about this race where we had our first engine wear notification. That's fine. Car's really good in Sector 1. Sector 2 is where this car sucks. It's so bad in Sector 2. This part right here, it's just awful. These right-hand turns, it's just not good at. Pretty good everywhere else. But Sector 2, it is absolute garbage. It looks like Vettel's holding this line up just a little bit with Charles, Hamilton, Ricciardo, and us. And Sainz is right here as well. But that's keeping us in touch with them, which is fine by me. You know, the crazy thing is that it's a setup. I like the setup. Like I said, it's really good in Sector 1, really good in Sector 3. I can't believe how terrible it is in Sector 2. It's just really bad in those two right-handers. It just does not want to carry any speed there or rotate. I'm really holding up Sainz and Gasly. I mean, they were right on my ass. Sainz has hit me a couple of times. Doing the best I can, Carlos. Starting to lose touch here with Ricciardo a little bit. I just can't keep this pace. Car's just so bad down here.
Okay, clear.
Collision with Sainz. I never touched him. What?
Safety car deployed. The safety car has been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Uh-oh. Well, that's interesting. I never even touched him. So I have no idea what happened. We got the double stack here. They weren't ready for me. That's really unfortunate. All right, so Ricciardo's on softs. Verstappen's on softs. We're on hards. Stroll's on hards. I can't believe the safety car came out. We'll have to go back and look at that after the race. What happened to Sainz? But I never touched him. It gave me a warning for contact. I never heard or felt contact with him. Charles came in and pitted. Pit crew wasn't ready for us. So that's unfortunate. But we finally get a safety car. He must have wiped out pretty hard right here. I mean, I usually know when I hit somebody or when there's contact because you can hear it and you can feel it. I never heard or felt any contact with him. So we'll line up 7th. So we lost a spot on pit road to Verstappen because of the double box. Looks like it's Bottas out front, Vettel, Charles, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Verstappen, and then us. Ricciardo and Verstappen are on hards. Hamilton's on softs, rather. Hamilton's on softs. Charles is on softs. Can't tell about the top 2. So everybody went to softs. And they're going to 2-stop it to the end. And we're going to, I assume we're going to ride these out to the end? Is that possible?
You have P7, 7th place. Verstappen is ahead of you. The gap is less than a second. They're on fresh softs. Stroll is behind you. Less than a second separate you. They're on fresh hards. Okay, gap to leader, 2.3 seconds. Look after these tires now. We want to finish the race on this compound. You have 25 laps to go.
Well, that answers that. They want to finish the race on this compound. Meanwhile, everybody in front of us is on softs, I guess. Or at least the 4 in front of us are on softs. I don't know about the top 2. They're going to 2-stop it. Interesting. Very interesting. A rare safety car. We really have not gotten a lot of safety cars this year. I think this might only be the 3rd safety car of the whole series. Certainly the first one here in Season 2. I'm just dumbfounded about what happened with Perez. Well, we'll go back and look at it afterwards. But I know I didn't hit him. I know I didn't hit him. Now that I'm saying that, we'll go back and it'll be very obvious that I hit him. and I'll look like an ass. So it looks like Vettel's on softs. That much, I think I could see that. Bottas, I can't tell. It's too far ahead. I suppose I can always look at the race director. A lot of collisions involving my name. Verstappen's got an incident for colliding with me. Sainz has an incident for colliding with me. So it looks like, Bottas hasn't pitted yet. Okay. So Bottas stayed out and is still on the mediums he started with, which we think could only go like 15 or 16 laps. These guys all pitted and took softs. Stroll's the only one who took hards with us, and everybody else behind us took softs. Wow, except for Giovinazzi. So 3 of us took hards to go to the end. Everyone else took softs to two-stop it, and Bottas, I think, is sticking with his original strategy of a one-stop. Weird. This is going to get really goofy. I like it. All right. So it's likely that we're going to get beat up on here by these guys with the fresh softs. So I just got to maintain as much as I can, I guess.
Green flag.
Well, good. We did a rolling start correctly, unlike they did today in the Tuscan Grand Prix. I woke up and watched it. Pretty amazing, the ginormous wreck that they had on that rolling start after the first yellow flag. Just a massive, massive amount of death at the back of the field. Oh, I'm going to be so slow. I'm going to hold these guys up so bad. Sorry, everybody. All right, not too bad. I mean, I'm using a lot of battery in rich mode
DRS has been enabled.
to keep out in front of these guys, but we're hanging. We're hanging all right. It's not fun on hard tires, I'll tell you that.
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap.
And Bottas finally hits the pits for the first time with his very bizarre strategy of staying out. I guess Mercedes had to make a decision on which car to pit because they didn't want to double box him. And so they left Bottas out there. He's not going to be happy, but you know what? That's very realistic because they pretty much fucked him over today in the Tuscan Grand Prix as well, so I guess that's accurate. All right, Charles, way to go. Fastest lap of the race so far. Hell yeah,
We're
Charles.
starting to catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tires. We won't be making another pit stop.
We are pulling right away from Stroll on his hards. He's doing a great job of holding everybody up behind him. That's really our biggest saving grace right now is Stroll on the hard tires is so slow, but the stupid AI can't pass him. So that's really helping us out quite a bit. Stroll was in position for a podium today in the Tuscan Grand Prix, and he crashed hard. Ate shit. All right, Gasly got by Stroll. Charles just went faster. Come on, Charles.
The gap to the
Need
car
you today,
is
buddy.
3.9 seconds.
All right, let's see how fast Gasly catches us. Tough for Gasly, man. Wins at Monza. Doesn't make it out of Q1 at Mugello. And then finishes last. Ugh. Motorsports. What a kick in the dick. Gasly's going to catch us. My hope is that he uses up his soft tires so much that he struggles to get around us. I'm not going to make it easy on him, I'll tell you that. And he's going to have to pit soon to get off those softs and go back to mediums to finish this race. Hey, hit me. Nice clean pass, Pierre. And he's pitting. So all those guys who pitted under the safety car and took softs are about to come in. That's going to cycle us to the lead of the race. There we go. New leader of the Dutch Grand Prix. Stroll will hold on to second. Charles about 4 seconds back on fresh mediums. Charles is in a position to win this race. He's way out in front of Vettel. So hopefully Stroll doesn't make it too hard on him to get around him. And when Charles gets to us, we're not going to fight him. Charles should get DRS here on the front straightaway and just blow past him. Or not. Come on, Charles. Don't dilly-dally here, brother. Well, Stroll's not going to pit the rest of the race, so if he keeps holding Charles up, then we win. Pretty much. A little goofy. But again, if Charles gets around Stroll, he'll catch us, and we'll just let him go. Go win the race. Charles finally gets the job done. Had me worried there for a sec that he was going to go another lap in third. But now it looks like he's clear of Stroll. We could be on for a 1-2 here today in the Dutch Grand Prix. That does have a very nice sound to it indeed. 10 laps to go here at the Dutch Grand Prix. We are running 1-2. And Charles is about to take the lead away from us. I mean, I'm not just going to roll over and give it to him, but once he gets to me, I'm not going to fight him. All right, Charles. Good fight. I can't hold on. And now we'll play defense to ensure that we get the 1-2 here. Charles is about to set sail into the distant future of this race. I'm just dumbfounded by the strategy of these guys to come down and take on softs during the safety car. I guess for Charles, it worked out pretty well. Everyone else really, I don't know, they didn't execute. And it's starting to get a little bit cloudy, as expected. Well, this is going to be a beautiful day if it stays this way. Oh, man. A 1-2 finish. And what a recovery for Charles. DNF on lap 2. Last time out in China. Comes out here. You got to slap the field around. That's why we hired him. That +3 pace boost that he got from the training that we did certainly doesn't help or hurt. Because he's been very pacey. Our next biggest challenge is going to be Vettel on the mediums. Back there in fourth. He's 7 seconds back. And he's going to have to deal with Stroll. 6 laps to go here. Vettel is closing in. But again, he's going to have to deal with Stroll, and he's going to lose time doing that unless he catches him and passes him cleanly, which is unlikely. I got to make sure I keep turning really good laps here. Giovinazzi out of the session. Yikes. There's Giovinazzi. Stopped on the side of the road. No safety car, though. Interesting. He was in a kind of precarious position, but whatever.
5 laps of fuel remaining.
Fine by me. I don't want to see a safety car. I'm happy with this race ending just the way it is. It'll be a historic day for Shield Speed GP. Oh, Lewis Hamilton takes the fastest lap. Oh, just had to piss on Charles's parade. Come on, Charles, go get it back. 3 laps to go. The margin is 4 seconds.
The gap is 5 seconds.
Back to Stroll and Vettel. 4 seconds. We're maintaining our gap pretty nicely. And Stroll's going to hold Vettel up.
Dropping back by about 0.3 a lap.
I think we're going to be just fine here. All right, white flag for the Dutch Grand Prix. We are about to do something we've never done before. Charles is gone.
Final lap of the race.
And we're just cruising here in second place. About to go 1-2 in the Dutch Grand Prix. We've grown the lead now into the cars behind us. Stroll doing the Lord's work back there for us, playing defense. Keeping Vettel and Hamilton at bay. Weird race, to say the least. But I like weird races. Here it is. A historic moment for Shield Speed GP. For the final time up onto the front straightaway, Charles Leclerc, winner! And here we come. A 1-2 finish. Yeah! Yes!
Top, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you've pulled through.
Me too, Jeff. I was worried too. Lance Stroll, driver of the day. Hell yeah! Get in there, Charles, you madman. Oh, baby.
Many doubted whether they could pull off the win here in Zandvoort, but they have done, and done it in spectacular style.
1-2. I think we've created a monster in Charles Leclerc.
What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out.
True.
But they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
Here comes your top three making their
Look
way
at
down
Charles.
to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One.
DNF'd on lap 2 in the Chinese Grand Prix, comes back and wins the Dutch Grand Prix. The Shield Speed boys are here to play in Season 2. Don't you forget it, Mercedes. Let's take a look at what happened between me and Carlos Sainz that brought out that safety car. All right, I haven't really looked at it yet. So let's take a look at it from this point of view, looking at Sainz, trying to make a pass on me. Let's see what happens here. Let's watch it in real time first. Kind of looks like he just drove into my side pod on corner exit and shunted himself into the inside fence. So let's watch it in slow motion and see if the detail supports that theory. So he hits the apex nicely. I went wide because I was terrible in that corner. And he tracks out like into me. I don't know. I'm trying to make the exit of the corner here. He just drives into me, doesn't he? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Who's at fault here? Is it me? Is it him? Is it a racing deal where we just meet at the same point? It's a pretty big aggressive move from him. But that's what brought out the safety car. And he gets going with no front wing. Safety car's out at that point, but he drove away from that. Wow. Yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. My fault, his fault, or a combination of the two. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Wow, what a race. Charles Leclerc gets his first win for Shield Speed GP. We get second after various strategies in play. Unbelievable. He two stops it. We one stop it. But he was very, very good after that safety car. The strategy, they nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. It's so nice to see, finally, for once, the AI get a strategy right. Stroll gets third. Good for him. Vettel recovers to fourth. Hamilton back in fifth with the fastest lap. Ricciardo, Verstappen, Bottas. That's big for the championship. Bottas back in eighth on the one stop. They really screwed him over by leaving him out and then making him pit under green again. There's no way he was going to recover. Gasly and Kvyat round out the points-paying positions. George Russell, another great run for Alpha in 11th from 16th. That's a hell of a drive right there. Sainz, not very good, but again, he had to. He's lucky he was able to finish that race. I guess they replaced the front wing, but yeah, controversy there, I'm sure. Albon, Ocon, Perez, Norris, Nick gets 17th. Good job, Nick. Grosjean, Matsushita, Magnussen, Latifi, and Giovinazzi, the lone DNF. Latifi got lapped. Yikes. But we get first, second. Feels good.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Your team secured the top two positions. Is it safe to say you're a winning combination?
We're like two peas in a pod.
You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
Yeah, we were. That's not a question, but let's give some love. The car handled really well. Like, even though it was kind of bad in those right-handers, I mean, it did in sectors 1 and 3. It was really, really good. So, yeah, Charles was flying. So good job, chassis department.
Safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it?
It is safe to say that, Claire. F1 is a team sport. We all put in an extreme amount of effort.
Your teammate took the #1 spot. Does that make you happy or jealous?
Of course, I'm happy for them. A win for them is a win for the team. Stupid.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. All right, we pick up +1 on the rivalry on Albon. So we are 2 points away from locking this deal up. Safe to say we're going to win that one. Charles, my man, way to go today, buddy. Oh, we're going to get a lot of sponsor money. Yes, sir. Good, good, good on Team Acclaim. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. Oh, 1.56 million. You'll love to see it. Zanzare and Xenon, very happy indeed. Little minor damage deductions for us. That's okay. We'll let it slide, Charles. Don't you worry. Oh, that's great. Good job, Charles. Well, that'll do it for this episode. The Dutch Grand Prix, a rousing success in all facets of the word. A win for Charles, a second place for us. Doesn't get much better than that. The only thing that we missed out on was the fastest lap. Otherwise, it would have been a complete clean sweep. But, man, oh, man, what a recovery. What a race. I had a good feeling about Zandvoort, and I guess I was right on that one. Nice little recovery. Our best effort of the season. And that'll lead us into the Spanish Grand Prix up next. Yeah, we're going to have to make some tough decisions because we have engine wear becoming a factor at this point. Do we take on a second row of components this early after 5 races? I don't know. Spain last year, we had gearbox issues. We had engine issues. So I'll have to look all that over and see. But you know what? A problem for another time. We're going to relish this win, relish this day. Look at that level 2 R&D center for durability. Looking good. But I'm just so happy. I'm thrilled for Charles, thrilled for the team. Exactly what we needed in this episode. So, feels good, man. Feels good. We got our 2 durability upgrades in, so that's nice to see. And a lot more exciting stuff coming our way. $7 million. We'll get some resource points, do some more development on this car. But she's a winner. I've got to win. Charles has got to win. And that is awesome in the first 5 races of Season 2. We're taking this thing seriously. We're going to keep pushing forward to keep Mercedes honest. That's all we can do. But all you can do is keep watching these videos. And if you're enjoying them, let me know by leaving a thumbs up on them and a comment down below. Thumbs up goes so far. When you like the video, it shoots it out into the algorithm for YouTube and shows it to more and more people. So if you like this content, you know other people are going to like it. Let's show them the way. Get them into the community and get them watching these videos. We just hit 1,000 subscribers last night. We hit it while I was streaming live on my Twitch page, and it was awesome to see that. So 1,000 subs, done and dusted. Channel is going places, and it's all because of you and your support. So thank you so much. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please consider doing so today. I hope I can earn a subscription from you with this amazing performance by Charles and by me. I'll pat myself on the back. Thanks. Other than that, if you want to connect with my community a little bit deeper, we have a community Discord. Link to that down in the description below. Feel free to join, say hello, let us know who you are and where you're coming from. But that'll do it for today. Great episode, great race, very happy. Genuine smile. Matt Kenseth's happy. We're all happy. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, be good and be good to each other. We will see you in the next episode.